Yeah, probably it's a lot better because Здравейте на всички! Добър ден! Тези, които не са видели сутринта. Продължаваме с следобедната част на програмата, която е посветена на един много интересен аспект – медийната грамотност и по-точно три аспекта на медийната грамотност. Едни така любопитни, интересни неща, свързани с монополизма в информацията, буклука в информацията, рейтинга на информацията, оценка на информацията. Неща, които са много интересни, тъй като много от младите хора не си дават сметка за тези неща и всички ние ползваме интернет, боравим умело с Google, но за съжаление много често ни липсват основни познания по това как да преценяваме, например, достоверността на информацията или достоверността на един уебсайт, или пък, например, как да търсим в Google, използвайки булевата логика и някои по-специфични опции, които не са просто да напишете няколко думи и да търсите в търсачката. Предполагам, че много от вас не са се замислили върху тези проблеми и именно за това ние решихме да направим един специализиран блок, посветен на тези проблеми, свързани с монополизма в информацията, буклука в информацията, рейтинг, достоверност и други такива много интересни неща и как да се научим да боравим с тези неща. Преди да започнем с тази следобедната част, аз искам да ви кажа, че ще има възможност да си вземете от рецепцията две неща безплатно и едно с намаление. Това са две списания, които .NET и Pokemon, съответно, и една книга има, която е посветена на графичното оформление на емблематични наши първи издания. Тя се казва "За старите книги и компютърните изкуства". Също така е посветена и на началото на компютърните изкуства в България, как са се развили последните години също. Но най-интересното, може би, в книгата е графичното оформление, шрифтове, хартия и така нататък на най-важни емблематични наши издания. Това, което също е интересно, ще накарам колегите ми да поставят също на рецепция един меню, който е за медиа литeracy, който ние сме направили във връзка с един предишен наш проект за медиа литeracy. Той, за съжаление, на английски. Него безплатно също може да го вземете, но тъй като са ограничени бройки, предварително искам да кажа, че на нашия уебсайт, на Sofia, сказ, има линк към този проект Media Literacy и съответно към този меню. Т.е. той може да се свали в PDF формат. Така че има и една книга, посветена именно на тази тематика, която ще се дискутира по време на този семинар след обяд. И тъй като сега презентациите предимно са на английски от наши чуждестранни гости и приятели, с които ние работим, от младежки организации, центрове, арт-центрове и така нататък, аз искам да попитам доколко ще има нужда от превод. Ако има, я кажете ми, кой има нужда от превод? Примерно, сега всички са... Лекциите така иначе се записват между другото онлайн, така че ще можете да ги видите и след това, т.е. нещо, което сега не сте разбрали, видяли, ще може да го прегледате и онлайн още веднъж или така технически детайли ще може да ги видите още веднъж. И сега, понеже тъй като са презентации на английски, аз ще преключа на английски, това беше така обяснението за българската аудитория. Now I'm switching to English. I just have made a brief explanation to our audience about the aim and the next steps will follow this afternoon. So our guests from UK, from Italy, from Spain, from Poland now will present their experience and their thoughts about some aspects of media literacy. Because this is not a typical lecture and typical, let's say, university or school lecture, I would suggest that you can ask questions, you could share your experience as well, so you could also add something if you feel that you're competent or if you have some remarks. So just feel free to add or to share your thoughts during the presentation or after the presentation. So I will pass the floor to Ben.
Thank you. Yeah, just from the start of that, if you would like, just honestly put your hand up and I'll come to you during the presentation, that's fine. I really want to hear everybody else's opinions from your backgrounds, whatever you have to share on my topic.
Ask me a little bit slow.
A little bit slower, sorry. So I'll just say that again. If you have anything to share, please put your hand up and I will come to you because I'm really interested in what you have to say. So yeah, my topic is on modern computer activities. So I just want to tell you what, why and how. So I'm going to talk about really stereotypes. We're going to just quickly go over the negative that follow really computer gaming around and using modern media. The reason I want to do that is because a lot of it is to do with my practice. I want to see, I want to discover why these in place, and then I want to sort of address those why, and then I want to talk about the positives. First I want to just introduce me. So I'm 23. I'm currently studying Youth and Community Development at the Montfort University, and I've been a gamer for 10 years. Any other gamers about playing a game? Am I in here alone? I'm in here alone, brilliant. No. Yes, we got somebody else. Come on, somebody. Yes. So yeah, and really this is going to help me with my dissertation that I have to write this year. This is why your feedback is really important to me, because it's going to help me with my further project. So first of all, as I explained, why this topic, it's going to help me with my youth work, and I personally feel that gaming is being on the rise, and gamers are often forgotten or excluded from modern youth centres in which I work. There are PlayStations, there are computers, but they are really there, just go in and use them. They aren't used as tools, and so hopefully throughout the presentation I can help you how you can use these as tools that they are. Yeah, and just like it says, show the positives of both social media and gaming. So first of all, these are stereotypes. I'm sure if you follow the world of gamers at all, or computers in general, then you'll be aware of some of the stereotypes that follow. We often with pictures, we're imagined in the corner, just with our laptop typing away. We don't really talk to people. We sit browsing websites, making fun of just ourselves, and we just sort of sit there. We don't really want to talk. And these are quotes that I pulled from the Sun in the UK, which is the most bought newspaper in the UK. And these are some headlines. And the reason they're here is because it's extremely important. Because it's the most bought paper, this is what I believe that a lot of the community is seeing. And then from that, they're forming their stereotypes. And obviously there's a couple there that you can read. But really the one that really stands out to me in this one is that the most damaging side effect is permitting your kids to play over 18 games that diminishes their respect for rules and regulations. This was a really long article, and it's referenced at the end should you want to read it. But in brief, the lady of the article was discussing how playing violent games makes young people not willing to take the rules seriously. But then she followed it with an odd statement saying, it doesn't make them violent. And her whole discussion was about how it makes them violent and breaks some rules, but then she said, although there is no evidence of this. So I'd never really understood her point, and it's her points coming from her, and all the other stereotypes that are in the media that are causing big problems for video gamers and pushing them underground, when we need to be bringing them out and celebrating the positives that media can bring. And again, this is just this is sort of the pictures that I was sort of explaining. You sat in a corner on your own, isolated, you know. But this is these two quotes are from Mothers Against Video Game Addiction and Violence, and they compare it. They compare people who play a lot of video games to people who are drug addicts and things like that, and they're saying that this is now, you know, just as bad, if not worse, in our generation and generations to come. And this is Mothers Against Violence standpoint. And again, it's pushing gamers underground, and it's putting them in a really negative light. And that's not something we need to do, because gaming is becoming more and more popular as we go. We need to bring people together, and this is what my next slide is going to talk about, because this is what I'm here to talk about, and that's about positives of video games.
Oh,
Right, well. So positives. Up there you may see some pictures of games that you've seen. FIFA, any FIFA players? Anybody ever played any FIFA? Yeah, a couple of hands at the back. Yeah. Do you play it online? Any FIFA players online? Yeah, there we go. That'll do. Call of Duty is another big one out there. Again, all the young people in my youth centre, in particular at the moment, are all over Call of Duty and all over the new FIFA 13. This is all they can talk about. This is constant, you know, if I just walk past, they'll be discussing either Call of Duty, what they played last night, or FIFA, and how their ultimate team is better than their friend's ultimate team. And when I tell them about my ultimate team's rubbish. So, but this is what I'm coming to, and all the stereotypes in the previous slide spoke about how we're antisocial. We are this, we are that. But as I've just said, the young people are sat there talking to each other about FIFA. That isn't antisocial. They're using the game as a topic of discussion. It's an aspect into their life. This is just a new discussion, just as when I was a child, Pokemon just came out. Anybody remember the Pokemon Craze? Yeah, lots of cheers. So you remember that from school. That was, we went there. Yeah, we played on our Game Boys alone, but then we sat there and we were like, how did you do that? How did you beat him? How did you do that? And it formed topics of our discussion, just as regular football, soccer, anyway from. It's topics of conversation. It's all starters, and you know there's a number of other games there, and games need to be viewed that they're not isolated, especially online games. Online games you play as communities. Call of Duty, all the young people I speak to, they play online with their friends. They may be at home alone in a corner, like the previous pictures, but they're not alone. With all the modern media that we're here to celebrate and talk about, they're not. They're on the other end of, you know, a headset, a microphone, a camera, and they're all discussing about, you know, teamwork. How can we do this? How can we do that? And these are key skills. And here is where I want to talk about those key skills come into place. Recently, for a game that wasn't released, it's called Dota 2, which you saw previously. This game is still unreleased, but they held their international. Originally, it was released a year ago. This summer they hosted their second international. At this international it consisted of 16 teams from around the world, including places from Europe, America, China, and all areas like that. At this event it was broadcast in 13 different languages with 13 different commentators. So the same game was available in all of those languages. Over the course of 3 days, this was viewed by 1.5 million people online through live streaming. I'm sure many of you have seen live streaming or videos on demand such as YouTube. Yeah. This was then available on YouTube, and it was watched again over 1 million times, and it'll be more since then because I did this about 2 weeks ago. But for the live final of a video game that was unreleased, 567,000 people tuned in live to watch the final event. These are people that are tuning in together or alone, and it's forming discussion, just as I mentioned with soccer or football. You go together to a football game, you then talk about that football game. You watch that on TV with your friends, you talk about the football game. These 567,000 people and more will be talking about this game. Gaming is social. It might not always be social, but there's social aspects to it, and it brings into our community, into the everyday life of young people. So this brings me to what's almost what we can do, but I just wanted to mention, has everybody heard of World of Warcraft here? So this is a key. Any World of Warcraft players? Asking this for every game. Yes, we've got one over there, I like it. So the core of World of Warcraft is an online game. It's impossible to play if you don't have an internet connection. But the core of World of Warcraft is group play. It's encouraging you to come together as a group of 5, group of 10, 25, and for its original release I believe you could do up to 40 in the same group. Together in this group you are encouraged to go and do missions of whatever variety together. You would have to come up with strategies, you would have to talk to each other, you have to work together. These are teamwork skills that, for my job personally, I try and train teamwork skills every day. And these are skills that I've been doing all my life. I talk to people. I've been led by the same people. And these are just some of the programs that you can do it with. TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, Mumble and Skype. These are all communication software. And I keep saying it and I'll keep saying it again. Gaming can be and is a social. The game is there. And these are all things that I would encourage, and I'll explain that more in a minute, but we need to get to know these. There's thousands and millions of servers and Skype users and everything, and it's just there. So now I want to relate it to my youth work practice, because obviously I'm a youth worker and I enjoy gaming, so for me I want to bring the two together. And it's just about how could I, both from this event I was hoping to bring, but how can I bring it into my youth centre? And the simple one that quickly came out to me was, why not have a FIFA tournament? And the big thing that I said before in youth centres, there's an Xbox in a corner, there's no youth worker nearby. They just say, yeah, you can go play the Xbox. That's not youth work. You've replaced a youth worker with an Xbox. No work's being done. There's no point. However, if I run a FIFA tournament, they like yourselves here, they'll be sat here, they'll be watching, they'll be talking, they're discussing, oh, he's just missed that. It encourages discussion, and while not only that, I can join in and I can talk with the young people at the same time. And it's a different method to get me engaging with the young people and I work with, which is extremely important. It's a new matter, it's a new way for me to involve myself with young people. And as I said, we need to consider both games, and I know we've talked a lot about e-games today in the seminar, and this is a different aspect. These are not educational games, but I want to use games in general to educate. And we are educating using teamwork skills, like I said in World of Warcraft. A 5-man team needs to come up with a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, you're going to fail. And there's 10 million users currently registered to World of Warcraft worldwide. 10 million users that are working together day in, day out. They come together as a team. You can't succeed if you don't in World of Warcraft. You can to an extent, but you won't be able to do any of the group content, and that's what the game is based around. And that's what I want to bring to youth centres. And I know there is an expense, which is also the downside to obviously modern media. If modern youth centres cannot afford it, then that's a problem. But in the youth centres which I work in particular, they have the funds, they already have the computers. Why is this not in place? Why do we not want to use it? And I feel like we need to. Yeah, most importantly as well, we need to have a go. When I asked if there's any gamers here, I just meant in general, if anybody in this room ever touched a game of any variety, it can be anything, Space Invaders, whatever, have a go, be willing. They want to teach you. If there's one thing I've learned about youth work, well, the biggest stereotype about youth work is that we play pool or table tennis. Pool or table tennis is the method, it's not what we're there to do. And I find it better if I am rubbish at those things. So if you don't know how to play this certain game, and you're watching somebody play FIFA as a youth worker, why not go over and say, teach me? Right? Who's a good team? Am I going to play a good team? Should I pick England? Yeah. Right? We'll beat Scotland first this one. So, this is what it's about. I need, as me and other workers, this is what I want to get the message out to them. I want them, go over to the young people playing FIFA, don't just leave them to play FIFA. Go over, get involved, get them to explain to you what they're doing. Why is that offside? Although don't ask them to explain the offside rule, we know where that goes. But we need to enjoy what it is. And if you don't enjoy it, I'm not saying you have to do it, but find somebody who does. Be willing to talk about it. Let's not push this underground. Let's talk. And this is Minecraft. Anybody heard of Minecraft? People know what Minecraft is? People say, another stereotype, that video games is dampening the imagination. For those of you that don't know what Minecraft is what's called a sandbox game, in which it's basically Lego. You make things out of square blocks, but it's unlimited, but you have to gather the resources yourself. So take these blocks here, for example. These are grass and mud. If you want to build a grass and mud house, you have to gather enough resources to build a grass and mud house. But you can build that house however you see fit, although it's only out squares, so you have to be creative. And that's what that is about. It's about exploring that opportunity. Why can I not? Minecraft can be run on all of these devices. All it requires is Java. You know, in youth centres that have one computer, as long as you can get Minecraft on it, odds are Minecraft will run on the oldest of computers, because it doesn't require a lot. And young people are obsessed by it, because they can just go, they can gather, and they can build whatever they want to build. This was just a basic Minecraft sign. There's many, many things. If you just Google Minecraft and go to images, you will see some astonishing things that have been made out of square blocks on a video game that, you know, I know we're here, we're looking at all these wonderful images, and this looks like it's from, 10 years ago. But the stuff that's made from it, it's really impressive, and this is the main thing, and I've just introduced it into my youth centres, and there's queues at the computers, and they sit together and they talk about, we should build it this way, we should build it that way. They're working together to build and play, and we're bringing it together, and creativity is there. And this is to my last slide, which was an example project that maybe I hope to run. Obviously with the Youth in Action, which is what we're here to do, or we're here because you've organised it with them. The Youth in Action programme that I'm suggesting is that we run with games at the core, the games that I've mentioned, but from that we're teaching skills such as teamwork, creativity, and we're breaking the stereotypes that it's isolating experience. And from that as well, we can run things that need to be run about the internet, which I'm sure we're going to go over throughout the day, such as internet safety, how to Google. Cyberbullying is on the rise. And with the new modern media, it is on the rise, and we need to be able to show counters to that. And this is a perfect project for that. Not only will they have fun through games, but they will also learn. And that's really it. I mean, if you have any questions, any points, please shout them to me. But other than that, I'm good. No questions? We all good? Awesome.